Hey guys, how is it going? I am Owen Leigh and welcome to a brand new video. In this video we're going to have a quick look at the current markets for crypto, some of the charts, and just have a quick look at a little bit of news that's floating around as well. I do apologise if you can hear electrical tools going in the background. My neighbours decided to basically build a house. Hopefully that won't distract us too much. Anyway, let's have a quick look at the markets. So we've got a total market cap at the moment of 211 billion or 11.9 billion, and a Bitcoin dominance of 53.5%, with Bitcoin currently trading at 6,545. So these last couple of weeks, guys, as you all know, have been rather incredible. I worked it out that Bitcoin has become more stable than most of the stocks and shares, and I think at one point we had a big wobble in the last week, as we know, with Tether, and when I actually was working it out, Bitcoin was more stable than Tether for the week, which is quite incredible, really. But there you go. I think Bitcoin had a shift of about 2%, and obviously Tether went down by 6%. So yeah, I found that very interesting. Bitcoin has become the new stable coin. There you go. Anyway, let's have a quick look at the charts. So this is a monthly chart, and obviously this big candle here with the massive wick is November last year, when we had the the spike in Bitcoin up to 20,000. And then obviously, as we can see, the big sell-off, and then we obviously have been bearish since then. We're sitting down here at the moment. We've got almost a doji just there. We've had a couple of reds there, but then we've really sort of lost momentum here. So what's the future? Are we going to break to the upside or break to the downside? Obviously, everyone says that the suggestion would be that it would break to the downside. But anyway, so yeah, there's the market at the moment. We've been making lower highs, as we know, but we've been relatively stable on the lower levels. And what do we have a look here and see what we've got? So 6,100 seems to be. Well, certainly the 6,000 seems to be the main line of support for the larger chart at the moment. This is the weekly, and then yeah, we are basically sort of pushing through, and we've come to this pinnacle crunch point at the moment. Let's have a look. So yeah, so we've got this crunch point at the moment, and don't moan at me about this candle like somebody did the other day. This is a closing down here, opening at the top, not the other way around, because it's red. So don't tell me it's not inside. Okay, so yeah, so obviously this is where we had the spike with the Tether issue, the big candle there. We can see that's obviously been sold off and then brought us back into our trading line. And then if we actually zoom in, as you can see next to it, we've just got this candle, this little bearish candle just popped up outside. Now obviously we need to wait till the end of the week to see where this closes, because if it comes down and closes inside, then obviously the indicator is there, and if it's closing outside, we'll wait and see what the next candle is to give us a better indication. Now bear in mind this is the weekly. Okay, so let's have a quick look at the 4 hour and see what's going on there. So you have to excuse all of these lines and things. This is obviously where I've been working on other bits and having a little look around. So we are at the moment, we are right in the pinnacle of this area where there just is not any more room at all at the moment. We are so squeezed in here. As we can see, we really are squeezed in. Now on the 4 hour, this last one here that's green at the moment, that's been red for most of the part. What's this? Sorry, I've just had an alert telling me that Snapchat has jumped by 5%, gone up by 5% in the last 2 hours. Anyway, so yeah, so we've only got this tiny little bit of room. Now I think that, I know that stringing it out to the 5th is going to be quite a bit for the sideways movement. We have been moving sideways quite a lot. Some of these, the prices that they've been sort of going between. There's been like $20-$30 or 1%, $60 movements. There's been hardly anything. I mean, if we go back and look here, 30 days, 1.6%. Come on, we're up 1.6% in 30 days. That's just like, it's just mad, absolutely mad. And we look at some of the others. I mean, Tron up 14%. Hey, go Tron. But overall, we are expecting some kind of movement. Now, where we're going with this is anyone's game. The whole markets are, you can't predict them. You can't say what they're going to do. You can have look at the charts, look at the various different indicators, and you can have an educated guess. You can look at the trends, look at what happened in the past to try and work out how it moves forward. All right. So people say about looking at the past is bad. It's not. Sometimes you need to look behind you to see where you've been, to know where you're going. All right. I think that we are going to see a real bit of stagnant movement here, and I think we are going to continue to see this kind of a movement, certainly up until around the 5th. And why the 5th? Because on the 5th we are expecting the CFD announcements. The decision apparently is supposed to be made by the 5th, and I think that the markets are being kept down at the moment by some of the bigger consortiums to allow others to get in, especially if they've got inside knowledge of the CFD stuff. If the SEC sort of let the ETF approvals go through. Sorry, not the CFD. The ETF approvals is what I was thinking of. And it's good news. Then hopefully we will see an up momentum, and we can actually get out of this this awful market at the moment and really start to make some gains. Of course, this all relies on this area, sort of here, between now and when that announcement is due on the 5th. Between now and then, we've got this dead man's ground or no man's ground to cover here. If we continue this sideways movement, then I definitely know that we are moving within this kind of channel here of the 66. If we continue to move in this channel, then I reckon that we are definitely being manipulated, by some of the bigger consortiums to allow people to get in. That's just my thoughts. All right, I'm not a financial advisor, guys. This is just sort of what I've learned from the markets and things, and having a look back to work out what's going to happen in the future. All right, so don't go sell your wife or your kids to buy more Bitcoin because I said that it's going to go up. All right, it could easily go down. Okay, however, when we look at the charts going back, and certainly on the let's have a look at the 1 day. If we look at how it sits, this is obviously going back to November last year, and we actually pull off from there. And let's bring that across to there. Okay, and we look at that. We've got the support there. If we say that this could be almost is a support line, let's bring that up to there. We've got a 5700 going across there, and we've touched a few times. We've had a little go at it, a little nibble sort of over here, being rejected again here. And we look at it in a broader picture. So I can't really count that. I mean, it had a little sort of push down, but was soon recovered. Then we've got there, All right, so if we look at it like that, I'm sure that we can say that this is certainly a long-term support here. At the the 57 or 58 even. So I don't think we're going to go down past this. If we do, then God knows what's going to happen after that. And then we are literally. Let me bring that up. Let's go up to here. Okay, so now if we do this, we now sit in here. Is where I'm expecting to see this movement. All right, so as I've put there, this is the 5th, and obviously this is going to be where I'd expect to see us really break out of this area and start the bull run. So that's my prediction for when the bull run will come. And as I say, it all to me, I might be talking absolute bollocks, but for me, looking at some of the information that's around various different information and stuff. Once we've got that ETF approval on the 5th, okay, that's when I think we're going to see this market finally break. You know, I really do think that we aren't going to see anything until we get here. I think we're just going to see a continuation of sideways movement, and on the 5th is when we will then make that decision on where the hell this market is going to be going, whether it's going up or whether it's going down. All right. Okay, let's move on and have a look at this bit of news. So, Coinbase custody. I know this came out. Was it yesterday or the day before? Yesterday. Coinbase custody. So, Coinbase are going to be doing a custodial service. They've been given a license by the bank law of New York to have a Coinbase custody trust company to give storage or security storage for large sums of cryptocurrency. So again, you know, it's a good bit of news. You know, people that are going to want to keep hold of cryptos and pass them on for, you know, for custodial to Bitcoin. So, you know, whether you get governments or large sort of corporations, consortiums, etc. And stuff will be held by Coinbase. So again, good news, and we know this is very similar to what Goldman Sachs is working on as well, with his custodial services. Obviously, these guys have just pipped him to it, I believe. So yeah, good bit of news. There was one thing where they were talking about XRP will be included, and I saw lots of tweets about XRP being listed on Coinbase. I'm not 100% certain because I haven't actually had time to look at XRP with Coinbase, but I don't think they're actually being listed on Coinbase. I think they're actually being listed on the Coinbase custodial. So you might want to just check that before you go jumping in with both feet. So crypto markets keep trading sideways. We know this. It certainly has been stable over the last 10 days. It's been hellish stable, as I said. But again, you know, I think that we will see some kind of movement, you know, around the 5th of November with that regulation review due. This is a great bit of news. So the next 10 years, crypto markets to eclipse 20 trillion as Bitcoin influence fades. Excuse me. So everything's tied to Bitcoin. We know this, you know. I mean, any of the altcoins, when you look at them, pull up a chart for Bitcoin, overlay one of the altcoins, and every time Bitcoin goes up, the altcoins go up. Every time Bitcoin goes down, the altcoins go down. You know, Tron is a great one. You know, they've had some real fantastic news this year. You all know I'm quite bullish on Tron. Tron have had some great news this year with the launch of their virtual machine, obviously the mainnet. But every time they release something, the market goes down and swallows any kind of gains, which is just, it sucks. It really does. You know, so it'll be nice to see all of the cryptos be able to break free from the Bitcoin influence. And 20 trillion, that would be absolutely remarkable, you know, absolutely remarkable to see that kind of money coming into the cryptosphere. And that, so yeah, so that's pretty great. So yeah, 10 years, guys. You know, you think how much if you was to buy $1,000 worth of crypto today, and then, you know, 10 years with that kind of a market cap, you know, what's that, 10x? Oh no, crikey, it's more than that, isn't it? It's like 1000x. Didn't they say that wasn't possible anymore? There you go. Anyway, so another little bit, the S&P 500 index has been shocking. So when we look at it over the year, you know, we had a big fall off back in January rather. We had this big fall off, then we had a recover, then we had another fall off a cliff, slowly been recovering, and then we've fallen off this cliff again. Now, there's been lots of heightened speculations about, you know, that if the stock market collapses, then the crypto markets will surge. This is rubbish, absolutely rubbish. These are classed as being relatively stable. These are stable markets. You know, they're not, but they are classed as relatively stable markets. If somebody decides to sell out of something like the S&P 500 because it becomes unstable or it's going down, they're not going to pull out and put it into bloody crypto, because crypto is even more unstable. Yeah, they're not going to do that. They're going to pull it out and put it into gold or silver or platinum, you know, or one of the other commodities like that. This is, you know, this is what's going to happen. Okay, so all of these things that you see where people go, stock markets are going down, you know, we need to get more involved in crypto because the markets are going up. They're talking out their rear ends. Okay, it doesn't work like that. Why would you take, your money out of something like this and put it into crypto when that's even more volatile. You're just not going to do it. Anyway, last bit, guys. So on here, found this one where this is The Guardian, which is a British, one of the British mainstream national press things and newspapers, and saw this where it says about we are due a recession in 2020 and we lack the tools to fight it. Conditions will soon be ripe for a financial crisis, but the governments will have their hands tied. So it says here, as we mark the 10th anniversary of the collapse of the Lehman Brothers, there are still ongoing debates about the cause of financial crises. So what this basically goes on to say about is obviously when the markets do crash, and they don't really crash, do they? The bubbles burst. When these things go wrong, and I mean, we can see here, if we look at the 5 year, look, this is bullish. Come on, guys, look at it. It's bullish. Yeah. You look at the overall, it's bullish, but then obviously when you pull in to the 5 day there, look, then it's bearish. All right, but overall, when you look up here, when you see these collapses, and I mean, let's have a look at the mix. So right here, this is when we had the last recession. Was it 2008? And you can see there we had this lovely up trend, and then pop goes the bubble, and we collapse down to down to here, and then we started to recover 2009. Okay, so there is your recession right there. Now, as we can see, we've had some massive growth since then, absolutely phenomenal growth, but not really had anything. We've had a little flux here, but nowhere near this level, and we're going, and then we're getting, you see there's a little down hook. So obviously they're saying that if this goes down, I think it worked out about 20%, then we'll be in a financial crisis. So there you go. But anyway, all right, guys, well, I'll leave you there. Hopefully you found this video useful. Please do give us a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell. I do try to do a few videos a week, and I do try to keep them relevant and just keep you guys informed of what's going on out there. If you'd like me to specifically have a look and cover something, do leave me a message and I will try to cover. Hopefully you found it useful. Thanks a lot for watching, guys. Until next time, adios.